So we're going to get straight into the tutorial today. So starting off, I prepped my skin using the Benefit Cosmetics facial polish. This is is it called a physical exfoliant? Like, it's got little grainy bits in it, and I just used that to cleanse my skin. And then I spritzed a little bit of the Benefit Re-hydrating Mist and followed up with their Total Moisture Cream. I really like these three products together. They make my skin very smooth and hydrated and ready for makeup. Next, I'm going to take the new NARS Soft Matte Concealer in the shade Biscuit, and I'm just going to apply that to my eyelid as a bit of a primer for eyeshadow and just to cancel out the darkness that I do have on my eyelids. And just setting that down using the Charlotte Tilbury Micro Perfecting Powder in the shade Dark 3. So I'm now going to fill in my brows using the Benefit Cosmetics Ka-Brow. I have it in the darker shade, which is Deep 6, and I'm just using the brush that comes with it to fill in my brows. Quite a bolder brow today, and I'm just going to set them in place with the Benefit Ready Set Brow Gel. You guys know I absolutely love this stuff. It just helps keep the hairs kind of going in the direction I want them to go in. And then I don't do this often at all, but I just use that same NARS concealer just to clean up around my eyebrows and just make them really, I guess, clean and, on point and whatnot. So next I'm just taking, oh my gosh, what was the shade I just used? Oh, they're coming up on the screen too quickly. Just taking these shades from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette and just really blowing them out into my crease. And then I realized I should probably put my foundation on before I got onto eyeshadow, because otherwise the foundation was going to undo a lot of the eyeshadow work I was planning on doing. So I just put on the L'Oreal True Match in the shade W8 all over my skin, and then going back in with that NARS concealer in Biscuit underneath my eyes and down the center of my face, and setting that down, look at that difference by the way, setting that down with the Nye Banana Powder as per usual. And then for the rest of my face, I'm just going to take that Charlotte Tilbury powder that I used earlier on my eyelids and apply that to the rest of my skin. So going back into the Modern Renaissance palette, I'm just taking the shade Tempera? Oh no, Primavera, sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm all over the shop. Primavera onto the inner corner and just like a little bit onto the eyelid. And then after that, I'm taking the shade Love Letter and applying that just to the center of my eyelid, and then taking a fluffy brush just to kind of blend all these shades in together. Next, I'm going to take the shade Cyprus Umber and just apply that to the outer part of my eye and a little bit into my crease, and just making sure it's all nice and blended. And then taking the big fluffy brush that I started off with and just kind of making sure everything's nice and blended and really blown out. Next, I'm going to take the lightest shade in the palette called Tempera. This is a Tempera one. And just applying that as a brow bone highlight. And then on the lower lash line, I went in with Cyprus Umber, which was the deep brown shade, and then the shade Realgar, which is the orange shade, and then the shade Burnt Orange, which is like the lightest brown kind of transition shade. Next, I'm just going to tightline my eyes using the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencil in the shade 0. And I'm also going to use that on my waterline. And then for a wing liner, I went quite fierce with the wing liner. I don't think I've ever done a wing this long. It was made pretty easy using the new Hourglass waterproof liquid liner. And then prepping my lashes for falsies, I'm using the Benefit Cosmetics Roller Lash Mascara. You guys know this is an absolute favorite of mine. And for falsies today, I'm going to be using the House of Lashes lashes in the style Knockout. Now, to warm up my complexion, since this is a musical festival look, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Glam Bronzer Terra in 04, and then just carve out some cheekbones with the Marc Jacobs Instamark Contour Powder in 60 Hi-Fi. And then for blush, I took a mix of Love Letter, Burnt Orange, and Realgar, the orange shade, and just applied that to my cheeks and a little bit on my forehead. I just thought this would add a bit of warmth, I guess. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk today. So next I'm going to highlight using the MAC Whisper of Gilt. So any gold highlight will do, since this is a limited edition product, but I did pretty much want to bathe myself in it. And for lips, I'm going to use Colourpop Lip Liner in Notion, and over the top of that, I'm going to use a Colourpop Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade LAX? Yes, LAX. Now, I wanted to go a little bit more, I guess, highlighted, metallic, all those good things, so I took a little bit of Whisper of Gilt and popped it on the center of my lips, and just bumped my lips together to like kind of get it nice and spread around. And then I sprayed a brush with a bit of MAC's Fix Plus, and I used the MAC Pigment in Tan just to further intense my highlight. So just down on my cheekbones and down like my nose and tip of my nose and my cupid's bow. And then I got this flower crown from Lovisa. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you like these slightly more dramatic looks, and I'll do more of them, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!